Hello, hi, it's Liz here, and it's time to make an entry in the nature journal, which is coming along. I added one of my lollipop stick closures to it, so that's a nice little addition. And let's have a look inside. It's getting quite chunky. So, oh yes, I added this to the pocket. I was looking through my box of ready-made little things, and there's this little, I suppose it's kind of like a zine, if you like. It's got little pockets. It's just a folded little piece of book page, and then it's just been decorated up. And when I looked at it, I thought, oh, it looks quite naturey, and it might fit in one of the pockets. And it does. So we'll just keep it popped in there. That's nice and safe in there. And we did the butterflies last week, so I've stitched round that to finish it off. And that's our daisy page. And then we stamped and coloured these, and I stitched round that, and it made a huge difference giving that a little stitch through. What else have we done? The ladybird page. And then the second signature, it's not until here that we've got our clouds. And then I think we've got our roses with our little pop-out envelope. And then the next thing I think is the butterfly belly band at the back. And again, I stuck down the butterfly and I stitched round this card for inside. So I finished off bits from last week, and of course that's our separate little bird concertina journal. Okay, so this week something a little bit different, something a little bit cute and whimsical, I think. I got this idea from Marcy at the Cranky Crafter, she's called. I'll put a link to Marcy's YouTube channel in the description box. She does a Fodder Friday, and she does little watercolour things, and there's daisies, there's let's see what else is, there's birds, all sorts of things that she does, little Fodder Fridays. And this week it was so cute, it was snails, and I thought, snails in the nature journal. So we'll find a nice page to put our snail page. So it's going to be a little bit cute and a little bit whimsical, and not really kind of how would you describe? It's going to be kind of cartoonish and kind of, you know, like that. So I've got a title, and she's going to be called Myrtle. Myrtle the modest snail, and she loves damp mornings and daisies. So what you do is you get a piece of this is kind of watercolour card. It's actually mixed media card, but you can do watercolour and all sorts of things in it, acrylic and whatever. I get this when it's an offer in Hobbycraft. And I've got my alt new, these were still out from yesterday, my alt new water colours. Just pop that back in there, and a brush, there it's there, and some water. And they're very, very simple. You just put quite a lot of water and pick up a little bit of colour, just a circle, and then we want to add a little bit of different colour, a slightly maybe darker or just in some spots here and there. And then you just let that dry. I'm probably not doing this right. There, that'll do. So that's one done. And we can do a variety of colours. Let's do a green one. So a circle, roughly, then a kind of watery addition of little blotches, for want of a better word. Let's do an orangey coloured one. And again, a little bit of dots. And then we just let them dry. Let's do a dirty blue, because I had orange on my brush. So a dirty blue, let's just pick some of that up. There we are. And then some dots. I've dried it too much for it to not spread. Let's just, there we are. So you can make it as coloured or as dark or as light or whatever you like. So I'm going to set these aside, and here are some I did earlier so that they would dry. And I'm going to just safely lift the water out of the way. So the next step is where we can have a bit of fun with them. So we just get a fine liner pen. This is a Zig Millennium. It's a 0.5. And we just kind of doodle. We will doodle Myrtle, and then we will pick one that we like. Or we might actually put a couple in the book. So we're kind of starting with her tail and then getting round her body and up and then round. How easy is that? And then she gets a couple of those little things. And some dots. A little pattern on her body. So, how cute is that? And then what Marcy did was she did lots of little different facial expressions. So you can have like ones that kind of, he's not having a good day. And then another one. What will we do with this one? She did one with antennas going forward. And then kind of squiggly mouth. So you can see how it just, they just look, I don't know, just really cute. I want to do one more. I'm going to do this pink one. I want to do another one with a smile, because I think Myrtle is a happy snail. There we are. Right, okay, so let's cut out the two smiley ones for our page. I'll cut out that one and this one. So we'll have two Myrtles. Myrtle 1 and Myrtle 2. Oh no, I've forgotten something. Oh, Marcy will be shouting at the video here. So you've forgotten her spirals. So I hope this pen works on. No, see, look, you sort of lose the. I'm going to use a pencil just to, I know that's not exactly, but my pen's not doing, I wonder if this other one will work better. See, it's maybe too thick actually. It will work, but you have to stop and start, and it's a wee bit thick and I'm not keen. Let me look, see if we've got another one. That one's too thin. Wonder if this one will work. Right, that one worked better. So this was a micron 3. Anyway, it will just need to do with the thick swirls. Still just a bit of fun. And we're just going to leave a little border around these things. And I'm going to do that bit at the end because that's quite awkward. That little bit of cutting out. Once we get rid of the main bit of cardboard, we can then get around here and then there. And then we'll just tidy that up a wee bit. And that's smudged, that black thicker pen. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll take one of the silly ones, because I don't like, I've made a mess of that one. So we'll take this one and we'll try, which pen was it that worked? It was that micron one. That's better. Sorry, mate. No journal for you. And I think this will just be a fun page that will make me smile whenever I go in to the journal. There. And it's kind of cartoony, so we don't need to cut it out like exactly like as if you were fussy cutting something that you really wanted to, you know, get right round in all the edges and everything. We don't need to do that with these. These are just, I think you just immediately look at them and know that it's just a bit of a fun doodle. There we are. Right, now we can start decorating the page. What do you think, aren't they? Just, yeah. Right, so let's move things out the way. And find a page. we want to do for Myrtle. Now, on the way through here, I thought maybe that page might be quite fun. On this page, okay, let's just look at what else I've got to add. I've got this because I want to decorate this envelope. There's a little surprise in there once it's done. I want to read to you, and it's just a wee bit too big for that. Oh, that's somebody at the bin. Making a noise. I'm going to have to put a complaint in. Yeah, I guess it probably does fit in there. I want it to kind of it would go there. Okay, so we're using this page. But first of all, we want to, let me just push that to the side, but keep it handy. Right, so we can have one on the envelope and one down here. Right, I have the title, and I have a little stamp set, Flora and Fauna, called Mini Snail Mail. How cute is this? And there's a little snail there, and it's got snail mail and 3 wee flowers, and I thought we would decorate the envelope. I've also got this, which is a dictionary snail. It's not a dictionary, it's an encyclopedia. So I've got that. Okay, let's start putting it together. Let's see how the title is going to work. I think we'll have the name on its own. Now, should we address it to Myrtle? Should we put the name on the envelope? That's an idea. And I've got this little bit as well. Love stamp mornings and daisies. I'm not sure about putting it on the envelope because I had a plan for the envelope. So I'm thinking I'll put it here. And then we'll continue with our envelope. And I've got my little snail. snip it. And I was thinking that, where are they? Here we are here. We would score out air. Like that. And write in snail. Snail mail. And last one. Whoops, way over. Not to worry. Snail mail. And we have an address to write. So tucked under a foxglove. See, it's not working now because of the paint has been on. The paint has blocked it. Now it's coming away. There we are. Perseverance. So, tucked under a foxglove. Oh, tucked under a foxglove leaf. No, tucked under a foxglove, just past the mossy stone. Wall. There. So that's Myrtle's address. Tucked under a foxglove, just past the mossy stone wall. And we will stamp some of these little snails, I think, along the bottom. Make it 3, although that one kind of makes it 3, doesn't it? We get another one in there? Not really. There. Okay. I'll just put that out. Oops, that's the lid on. Right, a little bit of glue for this. And a little bit of glue for this. I'm just going to tidy up didn't quite stamp. There we are. And we've still the letter to read from the inside. Okay, so here, that's going to go there. Good. Well, we survived yesterday's storm. It was bad, but it wasn't the worst storm there's ever been. Certainly so in this part of the woods. We are obviously not as north as I think where the main part of the storm was. We are in the central belt here. And yeah, it passed. It was quite blowy and gusty and quite heavy rain, but it wasn't too bad. Right, I think we're ready to stick that down. But let's just read what Myrtle has said. Myrtle has written the gardener a note. Dear gardener, I've had a lovely start to the day. Dewdrops for breakfast and a fine stroll across the marigold bed. I do hope you noticed the delicate trail I left behind, slightly to the left of the thyme patch. Some say I'm slow, but I prefer deliberately delightful. After all, you must move gently if you wish to hear the flowers whisper. With damp cheer, Myrtle, Snail of simple pleasures. Oh, well, Myrtle is really quite poetic for a snail. I suppose she's got a lot of time in her hands to write letters to the gardener. Okay, so we want that down there like that. Maybe needs to be, it's just slightly too long. That's it, that's fine. Actually, I'm annoyed at not writing that tucked properly. I think what I might do is get a little bit of paper and rewrite that. and it just makes it more junky looking. Oh, excuse me. Right, let's write it first before we stick it down. So we're just going to write tucked in our best writing. And I'm just going to put that there. That's better. And I don't want to smudge it. So we'll just put the tiniest little bit of glue there rather than on. There we are. Maybe I could have written a whole new one out on another piece of paper or on a label. In fact, I might do that. What I might do is stamp it out on a label. I think that would maybe be better because I like it tucked under a foxglove just past the mossy stone wall. And yeah, I think I might do that just to finish it off. But anyway, it'll do for now, because how long have I kept you back? Oh, just over half an hour. So yeah, thanks to Marcy for the snail fodder Friday. It's really fun, and yeah, I've enjoyed doing that. And I'll put a link to the YouTube channel. And if you could go along and give her a wee subscribe and a like and a comment, or yeah, that would be lovely. She would very much appreciate it. And yeah, and that's us for the nature journal this week. So thanks for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, a thumbs up would be great, and I'll see you next week. Next week? No, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.